Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Whitfield Report. I'm your host, Sam Whitfield, broadcasting live from NGC Studios here in South Florida. As always, great to be here with you for another Saturday night. Contact info as usual. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SamW_NGC, hashtag Whitfield Report. You can follow me on Gab at Sam Whitfield, Facebook.com/Whitfield Report, and of course you can visit my website at thesamwhitfield.com. I also want to make a quick announcement that you can support me on Patreon. That's been known for a while. Patreon.com/Whitfield, which is my last name. No Whitfield Report, just Whitfield. And now we have the twice a week premium podcast up there too. So if you want to head over to Patreon, and for just $1 a month, you'll get 2 extra shows a week on Monday and Thursday, and of course, then you'll get the live show on Saturday, in addition to the American Watchmen Roundtable, which airs at 9 p.m. right after this show. And shout out to Jolly Roger. Hey there, Jolly, who is in our live YouTube chat room. Thanks for the like, and thanks for tuning in. Alright, so folks, we have a lot we're going to cover here tonight within the next half hour, 45 minutes or so. The big topic this week, obviously, is the tariffs, which I'm going to cover later on tonight with the American Watchmen Roundtable. But for this show, I really want to focus on Trump derangement syndrome. We've talked a little bit about it these past few weeks, but I want to begin with a story that happened this week. On Thursday night, Trump's Hollywood star was vandalized yet again by someone with a pickaxe, which was big news. Prior to that, however, there was a fight that had occurred earlier this week. I can't remember what day, but earlier this week there was a fight that broke out on the I don't know whether to say on the Hollywood store, or I guess, the area immediately surrounding. But there was a fight that broke out immediately around the star. And this is clearly indicative of Trump derangement syndrome. And, for all those people who, keep going back to, South Carolina with Charlottesville as being the worst incidents of political violence in years, Charlottesville was bad, no one is denying that, but the left, the left starts most of this shit 9 times out of 10. And Charlottesville was maybe the one, out of the 1 in 10 case where right-wingers, and not even right-wingers, but just neo-Nazis started shit. But anyway, this footage of the fight that broke out over Trump's star this week broke out on TMZ, and it went viral. So I'll play the clip for you, and for those of you listening on the audio podcast, I'll pause and break this down for you as we go along. So this is footage of the fight that broke out earlier this week on Trump's Hollywood star in Los Angeles. Cut number 1, go.
And I'm like, hey. I'm like, are you allowed?
Okay, so for the podcast listeners, the video started off, there's basically a Trump supporter. She actually looks either Hispanic or black, and she's a female. She's posing with a Trump cutout and, just there peacefully. And now you're going to see these protesters. One of them is Hispanic, and he keeps yelling nigger at one of the black people in the crowd who is wearing like an American flag hat. And I guess this black guy was off camera. For those who are watching the footage, obviously you can see the white guy, but I guess there was a African-American MAGA supporter. But, they're not actual black people according to the left, so that's how that goes.
I didn't say ER though. I can say nigga if I want to, bro. I can say nigga if I want to. You don't get to tell me what to do. If I want to talk and use the word I use it. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck. What's up? What you gonna do?
Get out of my
We're deep in here. We're deep right here.
Get out of my face.
We're deep right here.
Get out of my face.
We're deep right here.
Get out of my face.
So what you're seeing is the Hispanic guy shouting nigger at the white guy too, but I guess from what I read in the story, that gave a little context of the clip, this Hispanic guy who you're seeing in the clip was yelling at a black guy in the crowd as well. And this U.S. Marine stepped up to defend the guy, and so that's why you're seeing this other asshole shouting, I can say whatever the fuck I want. Fuck Trump and fuck you and your friend is a nigger, and, just obvious shit like that. Continuing on. Okay, now there's a fight that's broken out. You can see that one of the left-winger Antifa people tried sucker punching this guy who apparently is a U.S. Marine. That's what I read in the comments. And, so the Marine is defending himself and retaliating against these Antifa, protester type a-holes. It's great to see.
Get back. Hey, he's a Marine. Hey, he's a Marine. Stop. Hey, he's a Marine. Get back. Don't tell me.
Okay, so if that wasn't clear, and I mean, with all these fight videos, you can never get like a really good shot because, they're pretty much all chaotic. Nothing's choreographed, but it looks like, from what I saw in the video, these 6 Antifa type guys tried charging this Marine, and one of them basically tried tackling the guy, and then the Marine disarmed that guy and knocked him to the ground, and then I guess head stomped him slightly, which some people are saying that that the Marine was in the wrong for doing that, but hey, if you try going against a U.S. Marine and you get your ass knocked to the ground, you bet your ass you're gonna get a head stomped. I have no problem with that. So, just these fucking Antifa people, and for those of you who are sensitive to language, I apologize, pardon my French, but damn, I am just so fucking sick of all these, fuck Donald Trump, resist people who are saying that he's the one dividing the country, and yet all they've done is, since Trump has been elected, is protest, vandalize property, try and beat other conservatives up, and just be a general pain in the ass. It's really fucking unsettling. I wouldn't have so much problem with them protesting if they were peaceful about it. If they weren't trying to lunge at someone with a MAGA hat every 20 seconds or 30 seconds, it seems like. I mean, even Republicans who were upset when Obama won the election back in 2008. Do you remember any, mainstream conservatives throwing a fit when Obama got elected in 2008? I mean, sure, there were some who were disappointed, but I don't remember any of these. I don't remember any of these types of, protests happening to this level when Obama got reelected. You didn't have, conservatives or Tea Party people trying to deface, Obama's Senate seat in Illinois. And of course, he hadn't had any statues erected to him yet, but still, we never saw any, direct action against Obama in the same manner. So Trump derangement syndrome is, still very real. It's still going on. Many people have asked me within the past week where Trump derangement syndrome comes from. They've asked for a sort of scientific and logical thesis on it. I'm not the guy to do to write a whole thesis on where Trump derangement syndrome comes from. I've written plenty of columns and essays about other stuff like the mainstream media. That's more my houseboat. But for Trump derangement syndrome, I actually found an article that from the Wall Street Journal that Dennis Prager referenced on his radio show a few weeks ago, and I think it's it illustrates how Trump derangement syndrome started and how it's been a big problem. This article is from back in February, but I still think it's, very much relevant. So this comes from the Wall Street Journal by Daniel Henniger, And the title of this article is The Trump Panic. So we'll pull the screen up here. And let me read this for you. The Trump Panic. It was the belief that the elected president was unacceptable and had to be stopped. It is a historical spectacle. Washington is transfixed by dueling memos between Republicans and Democrats on the Health Intelligence Committee over an FBI application to the Foreign Intelligence Service Corps to surveil Carter Page of the Trump presidential campaign. The application included a 35-page quote-unquote dossier on Donald Trump prepared by former British spy Christopher Steele. The Washington Press Corps kept the Trump-Russia collusion story before the American public for a year, and the president himself, speaking through his Twitter account, says he is the victim of a witch hunt. How did this spectacle happen? Two salient and related events occurred on November 8, 2016. Donald Trump defeated Hillary Clinton for the U.S. presidency. Within hours, the Trump panic went viral. The Trump panic of 2016/2017 was the belief that the U.S. presidency had fallen into the hands of an unacceptable person who had to be stopped or resisted by any means. Historians will record that the Trump panic gripped all Democrats, some Republicans, scores of intellectuals, such as those who signed documents declaring their refusal to work in the Trump foreign policy agencies, foreign leaders, journalists, and members of U.S. security agencies. On Election Day, two FBI officials, Peter Strzok of the Bureau's Counterintelligence Division and Lisa Page, exchanged text messages. Page, oh my god, this is fucking terrifying. Strzok, oh my god, I am so depressed. Recall how routine it was then to hear or read that the new U.S. president resembled Hitler or Mussolini. Democracy was quote-unquote at risk, even as such non-Hitlerian pillars such as Jim Mattis, Rex Tillerson, and Gary Cohn joined the government. Let us stipulate that it is not beyond imagining that individuals at the FBI's Washington headquarters or at the Justice Department are Democrats. This is Washington, and the sky is blue. Historically, though, it has been possible to believe a functional distinction existed in these sensitive bureaucracies between political impulse and professional responsibility. Because of the Trump panic, professional discipline eroded. Exhibit A will always be the Steele dossier. Spend 15 minutes reading it and you will recognize a textbook example of the Russian Cold War art form assembling published facts, half-truths, untruths, and conspiracies into an eye-popping narrative that would embarrass Frederick Forsyth. From page 33, referring back to the surprise sacking of Sergei Ionov, head of the PA, in August 2016, his replacement by Anton Viano, and appointment of former Russian Premier Sergei Kryanko to another senior position in the PA, The Kremlin insider repeated that this had been directly connected to the Trump support operation and the need to cover up now that it was being exposed by the USG and the Western media. The Steele dossier is factoids on steroids. In normal time, the FBI would not include it in a submission to the FISA court. The Trump panic was not in normal times. Decisions outside normal boundaries were considered justified. Recall Sally Yates. After President Trump's legally vulnerable travel ban order, acting Attorney General Yates wrote, For as long as I am the acting Attorney General, the Department of Justice will not present arguments in defense of this executive order. You want what? By comparison, it is well known that during Barack Obama's presidency, much of the U.S. military leadership abhorred his policies and directives. It is inconceivable that any of them would have refused to execute a similar order from Mr. Obama. And that, ladies and gentlemen, right there, I'm going to continue on, but that right there is one of the key points, ladies and gentlemen, that I want to point out right here. Well, while the military leadership may have abhorred Obama's foreign policy decisions under his presidency, ladies and gentlemen, they still followed it. Because although many of them disagreed with Obama's policy choices, and let's be honest, they were terrible and they led to the creation of ISIS, they were still, they still did their job and followed the president's orders. And that's not what we have. They remained impartial and still did their job. Clearly, that's not what's happening under the Trump presidency anymore, folks. Okay. Getting back to the article, though. But this was the Trump panic. And Ms. Yates' act of professional insubordination elicited approval in an email from Andrew Weissman, head of the Justice Department's criminal fraud section, how ironic, saying, "I am proud and in awe. Thank you so much." End quote. This does not mean the FBI is off the rails. It means a handful of people in Director James Comey's orbit at 9 through 5 Pennsylvania Avenue, products of the insular inbred Beltway village, lost their professional village and succumbed to the zeitgeist of panic over the Trump presidency. Riding that ship is crucial. We wrote at the outset that this is a spectacle, which brings us necessarily to one of its ringmasters, Donald J. Trump. Controversies come and go for any presidency. Some, such as Watergate and Whitewater, kept going because it was possible to report events that truly advanced the story. The Russian collusion story went moribund months ago, with Representative Adam Schiff reduced this week to writing the Steele dossier as if it were the second coming of the Pumpkin Papers, which revealed Alger-Hiss as a Russian dupe. Anyone else in politics would have let the fires under the collusion issues burn down. Is it a potential legal problem? Sure. Should it be a destructive daily bonfire? No. Mr. Trump is combative, not for political reasons, but because he's been combative all his life. In the Washington swamp, he has found the ultimate Trumpian arena. The swamp is his sparring partner. Don't let the raging tweets fool you. He loves it. And that he does indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so that's the ending of Henninger's article in the Wall Street Journal. Very well written. And I'll have linked in the podcast show notes once the program is over. But anyway, I do think this brings up several salient points, ladies and gentlemen. As I've said from the beginning, Trump derangement syndrome is nothing more than the fact that Hillary Clinton could not accept the fact that she lost the presidency, and the left could not deal with it. And through every step of the way, Trump has set policy goals and completed policy goals that have been unprecedented in U.S. history. Black unemployment is at an all-time low in this country. He pardoned 2 wrongfully convicted African Americans, by the way. One, in a historical gesture, that was the heavyweight boxing champion, Jack Johnson, who was arrested during the Jim Crow era, and imprisoned for life. He then pardoned more recently an African American woman who was wrongfully imprisoned for possession of marijuana unfairly, which, by the way, was a policy that Hillary's husband, Bill, instituted. And what was it that the Clintons called black people again in the 90s? Oh yeah, super predators. So, obviously, Trump's not a racist. We can rule that out. Is Trump a philanderer? Sure. Yeah, that seemed pretty obvious even before he ran for president. We had him, basically admitting on Hidden Wire in 2004 that he liked to grab women by the vajayjay, or the vajaja, as some listeners would prefer I call it. Has he done it? Has he done anything illegal as president? No. That's the bottom line. And the Trump Russia collusion story. Look, as this article pointed out in much more fancy words, the bottom line is there was no collusion. Nothing happened. And yet, the reason why Trump derangement syndrome is happening, the reason why you're seeing Trump's Hollywood star getting smashed repeatedly, is because these people continue to force a false narrative that Trump, stole the election. Well, now they're also, saying that Trump is bankrupting farmers with corn subsidies. Which, by the way, does meth farmers still tune into these streams at all? Has anyone seen them in the Danger Zone or in Sam Savages or any of the other groups? Because I would like to teach them. I would like to talk to them about the, new tariffs. Supposedly they're going to affect farmers. So, let me read through some of the comments because we had some of those while we were while I was reading the article. Okay, yeah, he is still in here occasionally. Let's see. Oh yeah, Jolly. I agree with your one of your earlier points. Jolly said in regards to Trump derangement syndrome, reconciliation is impossible because if you compromise 1 inch with them, they'll take a mile and bitch. That's not enough for them. No, yeah, I completely agree. And in the meantime, the other really, thing that is quite honestly just sad and tragic is the fact that I know people who have had family members who have disowned them for supporting Trump. Hell, I had it happen with me after the election with one of my cousins. Or with a second cousin, to be more accurate. And granted, we weren't super close, but it was still, it was still sad and weird more than anything. So, yeah, you want to keep telling us how bad, Trump supporters are and how bad Trump people are just in general. Because, we're not the ones, smashing up property and, or beating people up or, disowning people. This Trumpian derangement syndrome, to basically, the title of this episode, ladies and gentlemen, is called, Will Trump Derangement Syndrome Stop? And, I guess the lesson of this show tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is, it won't stop. At least not for, a while. If ever. Honestly, I'm not sure if we can get to the point where, I'm not sure if we will get to the point where the left will agree to sit down and talk with us. I don't see it happening. I've tried to be, and I've tried to reach out to, to some of these SJW types and legitimately try and have a conversation with them for why they think Trump is so evil. And they keep saying the same thing. He hates immigrants, he hates women, and he hates minorities and black people. Yet when I ask them for proof, they have none. And then once I give them proof to, contradict their statement, then they flip out and they call me the bigot and the racist. That's what I had happen earlier this week with a friend of mine or I should say, a former friend of mine who I knew in high school. This gal, although I don't even know if she identifies as a gal anymore, as a woman, probably not. She went from being a blonde lacrosse player. Always pretty nice for the most part in high school. And yet once she went to university, she became a big time lib, dyed her hair some god awful shade of blue and red, and basically anyone who disagrees with her politically now is a bigot and a racist and a homophobe and all those adjectives that they so love to judgmentally put on us. She also tried playing the security card because she graduated from college, which, I don't know what she was trying to pull on me for that, since I'm, going to be graduating from college in the not too distant future myself. But, even if I hadn't, does going to college really make you any superior or any smarter as a person? Because at this point, I honestly don't think it does. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I know that we're almost 40 minutes in. So, it's been a pretty good show. But I don't want to beat this horse to death, and I don't really have any other topics lined up for tonight's show. So, I think the point is pretty clear. Trump derangement syndrome isn't going to, stop anytime soon without something major happening. Quite honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I think the only thing that would stop Trump derangement syndrome, and I'm not saying I want this to happen by any means, but I literally think the only way we would come together as a nation again under President Trump would be if another 9/11 happened. I hate to say it, but at this point, do we really have are there any other options for reconciliation at this point? And yeah, I know the left is going to say, well, you could impeach Trump. That would be a start. Well, that's not going to happen. As much as you guys would like to think that that's going to happen, it's just not going to. So then, what are we left with? Something horrible would have to happen, and, people keep talking about another civil war coming, so I don't know. Something could be on the horizon, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. It's just, and I don't like making conspiracy theories, but the way these Antifa people are acting, as we saw in that clip, pretty soon one of them is going to, bring a gun or a knife and kill someone, and I bet you anything it's going to be them. And tensions are so flared that I think a civil war would break out. I'm not sure how long it would last, and conservatives always like to say that oh, well, we would automatically win because we have all the guns. But would we really? I mean, we may at first, but if the government gets involved, and if the federal agencies get involved, would they really take our side? I don't know. I really don't. It's a scary thing to think of a civil war, but if Trump derangement syndrome continues, I don't see this going, unfortunately, in any other way. So, my only advice to you in the audience, is if you can, try and have a logical conversation with your liberal neighbors and friends. I do want to note that I know that not all of them are big lefties. I know that there are liberals out there like Dave Rubin who are more, libertarian on some issues and more willing to listen to people. But by and large, I don't, the Dave Rubins and those types of liberals are disappearing quickly. Okay. Yeah, the main thing that would concern me is outside influences, as in other countries. Well, yeah, that's true too. I'm not, sure what other outside countries these people would reach out to. Probably the Middle East, unfortunately. But, either way, I fear it could get bloody here in the future. So, and on that positive note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for tuning in. And as always, you can subscribe on iTunes and leave us a rating review over there or wherever else you get your podcast from if you're listening on the audio version. If you're watching this live on YouTube, be sure to hit that like button and please share this on your social media and tell a friend if you like the show. And as always, you can also, once again, go to my website at thesamwhitfield.com. Social media links are all there. And once again, folks, you can subscribe to the new twice-weekly edition of the Whitfield Report on Patreon. $1 a month to begin. You'll get 2 shows. And, Jolly, I'll let you have the last comment. As you said, if war were to start, you can bet your ass China and Iran would jump in to keep it going. And, yeah, Jolly, you're actually probably right. So, let me put it this way, if shit ever does break out, I'm joining your team because, it seems like you can predict a lot of this battle strategy stuff. So, at any rate, thank you for tuning in to the Whitfield Report. Stay tuned for the American Watchman Roundtable, which I will link in the Danger Zone here shortly. If you're not in the Danger Zone, you can search American Watchmen under YouTube channels, and you can find the roundtable over there and tune in. We'll be talking about the tariffs tonight, so be sure to tune in a few minutes. And from all of us here at NGC Studios, and for the Whitfield Report, good night, God bless, God save this great nation. Good night.